Good morning, everyone. Okay, we'll continue with our book reading this morning. Toyota Way to Service Excellence by Jeffrey K. Leica and Karen Ross. Still on chapter 5, which said macro principle. And we are still in principle 4, which says strive for leveled work pattern or be like a tortoise. Yesterday, we looked at leveling software development work at Menlo's. Today on page 174, we're looking at leveling call center work at ZMO. So Karen has found that service center in direct contact with customers find it hard to imagine how they could possibly level their workloads. Calls, emails, and faxes come when they come and have to be dealt with immediately. Service providers lament there is absolutely no way for us to predict how many customers are going to call us today. Yet, Karen will also hear, once the West Coast goes online, we see a spike in call every day between 11 a.m. and 1 p.m. She has heard operations complain it is impossible to know when and how many other sales is going to be able to sell this month. So there is no way to plan. While the same group will then complain, since sales has monthly quotas and a deadline during the last week of the month, we are always light on orders at the beginning of the month and swamped at the end. As a starting point, it is important to study the actual state to see where there are patterns. It is quite common one will find at least some self-inflicted peaks and valleys. There are two ways to deal with the wild swing in demand. Reduce the variability in customer order or find a way to adjust staffing to the highly variable workload. Reducing variability may require changing sales incentive plans. For example, a cost-benefit analysis might show that, like Toyota, the disruptions caused by end-of-month sales bonuses are not worth the gain, or it may be necessary to change the way resources are scheduled to deal with uneven demand. In the case of the big jump in calls between 11 a.m. and 1 p.m. each day, further study showed that customer service representative lunch hours all took place between 11 a.m. and 1 p.m. After experimenting with alternative lunch schedules, wait times decreased, customer satisfaction increased, and customer service representative felt much less burdened. Zingerman's mail order call center found a creative way to flex resources to deal with highly variable sales calls. The staff members witnessed the remarkable lean transformation of the warehouse while they were on the sidelines and decided to try their own lean concepts. Throughout the year, there are peaks and valleys in the calls day to day within a day, and Zingerman's policy is each caller is the best part of my day. This means that the employee will never discourage callers or try to cut calls short. And when the company studied demand, it found there were some clear busy periods during a day, but not in such a way that ZMO could have staff come to the office for busy periods and then go home. The company decided the answer was to flex resources based on call volumes. Typically, staff members would sit at a computer and wait for calls. Some were busy while others were waiting, and it was almost random who would answer the phone. The staff had seen the systematic and standard process in the warehouse and decided to experiment with a hot seat. When call center representatives are in a hot seat, the only thing they will do is answer phone calls from customers. They are totally dedicated to taking care of customer calls, and their attention is not diverted, nor is their flow broken. By trying to do other work at the same time, when more calls come in, than the person in the hot seat can handle, a second hot seat will be opened up, and so on. Customer service reps rotate through hot seat assignments, each of which lasts 2 hours. Okay, this is where we'll stop for our reading today. Still talking about leveling workflow process. We looked at leveling workflow process as a software development company. Today we are looking at leveling a workflow process at a call center, and is using Zingerman's mail order as a case study, just like he did the last time when we were looking at one piece flow. Still talking about pattern. If you watch the way things happen in a company, you study the patterns. Okay, this at this also time of the year or so period, this is when we make sales, or so time of the year, so period, this is when we don't make sales, or at so time of the day, this is when we expect customers to call, or at so time, this is when we don't expect customers to call. So for Zingerman's mail order call center, they found a creative way to flex their resources and deal with highly sales call. They found out that their customers call in between 11 a.m. in the morning and 1 p.m. in the afternoon, and that was actually when they do go for their lunch. But they had to change and make some changes, and decided that okay, if customers do call in at so time, that means we won't be going for lunch at so time. We'll sit and answer customer calls. So it's important to study patterns and know how to handle them, and know how those patterns will work effectively for you. If it's something you need to change, then it's better to change. If it's something you don't need to change, then you know how you're going to work with it. That is what it says about leveling call center work. Like I said, it's talking about leveling work process. Leveling means making all the patterns equal, following that pattern that works for you as a company or an organization, a small business or a large business, a big firm or a small firm. So that is it for striving for leveled work pattern, or be like a tortoise. So slow and steady, makes the work easy. Thank you.